YouTube, UFC 279, my official picks. I'm also going to throw Kyle's in here as well. Good morning, everybody. Everything seems to be smooth for the first time in 2 days. Let's hit it.
Just trying to make it. Even in a crowd, you're still alone. You're still alone.
All right, without further ado, let's get into it. Got some coffee brewed. Starting with the early prelims all the way to the main event. You ask, we deliver. I know everyone in the stream wanted me to do some prediction videos. I just have to preface this by saying I'm no pro, I'm no betting expert. These are my opinions based on what I've heard throughout the world of MMA, Twitter, the experts, the journalists, and the fighters themselves. And this one, I mean, it's just crazy to cap. It's just crazy to predict because everyone's predictions are changing every single day. But like I said in the intro, woke up this morning and everything still seems to be intact. So let's start with the first fight, which is Darren Weeks against Johan Linnes. I got Linnes winning this one. He's a power puncher. He has KO power. The only thing is, he doesn't have a great gas tank. But if he can lay down some bombs early in this bout, I think he's going to win. He's 8-1, 6 KO TKO, 2 decision. His only time he is lost is he, suffered a KO, and that's kind of what you expect from a guy like this, the White Lion out of Quebec, Canada. His last loss was to Gabriel Green. Before then, absolutely crushed it. Moving over to Darren Weeks. Good fighter, not great. 5-2 record, still pretty young. 4 KO TKO, 1 submission. Lost his last 2 fights to Ian Gary and Brian Barberina. 2 solid opponents. But how can I not go for the Canadian, which is, there's quite a few Canadians on this card today. Linnes, that's who I'm picking, and I think he knocks Weeks out. Moving on to the next bout. Elise Reed against Melissa Martinez. Now, Elise Reed stepped up on short notice. She's 29 years old, 5-2 record, so not super young. Really has to take whatever opportunity she can right now to make a mark in the UFC. She's taking on a younger prospect in Melissa Martinez. Elise Reed was dominated in her last fight, her last loss against Sam Hughes, UFC Fight Night 206. Melissa Martinez, super melee on the other hand, young prospect, 25 years old, 7 wins, 0 losses, 5 TKO and 2 decisions, so she comes out swinging. First appearance in the UFC out of Combat Americas. I'm taking the younger, the hungrier Melissa Martinez. Moving on to the next bout, and we have another Canadian on the card. Chad Anliger takes on Haley Allentang. Chad Ellinger, the Canadian, solid Contenders Series performance. Another upset, an older fighter, upset everyone, the masses, and Dana White in the UFC as they had big plans for the prospect he was facing. 12 wins, 5 losses. Again, 35 years old. Out of Consort, Alberta, Canada. Wow. So out of Alberta, there's not that many fighters in Canada in the UFC or Pro MMA who come out of Alberta. I mean, Hakeem Dawodu is the other rare one who we'll talk about in a bit here. 7 KO, 3 submissions, 2 decisions. He's well-rounded. He's a veteran, 35 years old. And he has 1 fight in the UFC Fight Night 201, Walker versus Hill. And then before then, he beat Muin Gafarov, Dana White's Contender Series, like I just mentioned. His opponent, however, the Mongolian Knight, he's a veteran of the game as well. He's fought in UFC, he's fought in various big fighting promotions. I predict this one will go 3 rounds. But I believe the Canadian comes out on top. Oh, Canada, baby. Oh, Canada. I'll be flashing the flag all through the live stream today. So join us 3 p.m. Pacific time, live here every Saturday. Fight Companions here on the City Life Project YouTube channel. Next fight, let's get into it. And all I have to say off the bat, who cares? Honestly, why is this one even on the prelims? Danielle Wolf taking on Norma Dumont. Again, who the fuck cares? Wolf is 39 years old. 39 years old, 1 win, 0 loss. Her only win came on Contender Series. A boring unanimous decision, and she gets a contract into the UFC. Now, she may be marketable. Okay? She's pretty. We get it. She's 1-0. 1-0 in a decision. What are we doing? Who is this? Now, respect to her opponent. Norma Dumont, seen her fight many, many times in the UFC. She's 3-2 in the UFC, so 5 fights, 7 wins, 2 losses in her pro career. 2 submissions, 5 decisions. She's not the most exciting fighter. 31 years old. Before losing to Macy Chiasson, UFC 274, split decision. It was a close one. She won a 3-fight winning streak, defeating Aspen Ladd, Felicia Spencer, and Ashley Evans Smith. All solid opponents within her division. What the fuck is this? Obviously Dumont, and she's gonna destroy Wolf. First round knockout. Next, this one hurts. I love Barnett. I love Barnett, folks. Let's just get into it. Chris Barnett taking on Jake Collier. Now, like I said, I love Chris Barnett. 22 wins, 8 losses. Let's be honest here, though, folks. And Capoza said this on Twitter. He's a super heavyweight kickboxer who's, transitioned into MMA pretty damn good. I mean, look at his record. He's had a ton of bouts. But at the end of the day, his bread and butter, super heavyweight kickboxer. 36 years old. He's no spring chicken. Huggy Bear / Beast Boy. We all love him. He's such a lovable character. Came into the UFC again against an aging, older opponent who was on his way out in Volante and put on a great spinning knockout performance. He came in overweight too. I believe he's only the second heavyweight in UFC history to miss weight, coming in 1.5 pounds over. He lost his last fight to Martin Budai. Then he beat Volante, lost to Rothwell. So he's only 1-2 in the UFC right now. And again, before then went on an absolute crazy streak in UAE, Road FC, Square Ring, but at the highest level in the UFC, you can't even make weight. And I get it. He's a super heavyweight at heart. But I believe he's forking up 20%. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. 20% of his purse to fight Jake Collier. And look at this. Sherdog really does have to update their picture. Yes, he used to be, I believe, a middleweight, if I'm not mistaken. Jake Collier, the prototype, now a heavyweight. 13 wins, 7 losses, 5 KO, 4 submissions, 4 decisions. So it shows now at heavyweight, he's going for the knockout, but the guy can grapple. The guy does have good cardio because of his time fighting at much lower weight classes. I think he's going to be way too much for Chris Barnett here. His last fight to Andrei Arlovsky, I mean, that one was a razor-close decision. He probably should have won that. Beat Chase Sherman, showed off some grappling there as well. And then he's heavyweight. It's back and forth, baby. Lost to Tom Aspinall, lost to Devin Clark. Those are 2 solid opponents, so more MMA experience at the higher level in different weight classes for Collier, in my opinion. Solid hands, freaking fast hands, too. And like I said, arguably beat Arlovsky. He also looks in quote-unquote better shape. And I know they're heavyweight, so what is better shape? Barnett came in overweight, and just their body types. It looks like it holds Barnett down. It holds Barnett back a little bit, where Collier, it's more, I don't know, healthy fat? Is that even the right term? Anyways, Collier, he wins this one, and I hate to say it, but he probably knocks out or TKOs Barnett. Denis Tiuliulin against Jamie Pickett. I'm going with Tiuliulin. I think he's got tremendous hands. I think he's got tremendous skill. 9 wins, 6 losses. Don't let that fool you. 8 KO TKO, 1 decision, 1 no contest. As I take a look at my notes right now, I just wrote power. Only loses to other just dominant Russians, it seems, and Kazakhs. Beats a lot of good fighters in other great promotions. As we'll take a look right now, doesn't just marinate, doesn't just beat cans in lower end promotions. Lost his UFC debut, but has competed in UAE Warriors, Brave FC, Leon Warriors, King of Warriors, M1, Diamond Boxing. I mean, yeah, a ton of different promotions and a ton of good promotions too, in my opinion. I think he's going to be way too much for Jamie Pickett, and I think Denis Tiuliulin wins this one. As we take a look at Jamie Pickett, though, the Night Wolf, 34 years old, 13 wins, 7 losses, 8 KO, TKO, 1 submission, 4 decisions. So these guys could just come out swanging and banging. Listen, Pickett is a Dana White Contender Series darling. He's a Dana White Contender Series veteran, and I don't think Dana White really wants to cut him anytime soon. His last loss was to Kyle Dawkins. Before then, he would put on a 2-fight win streak. Joseph Holmes, Starapoli. Before then, lost to Jordan Wright, Tafon Churiki. Lost on season 3 of Contender Series. Back regional scene, back on Contender Series. Gets a contract. 2 losses in the UFC, 2 wins in the UFC. He's an older guy now. I'm putting my money on Tiuliulin. Weigh-in day was just crazy all around. There was 2 catchweight bouts. And then, of course, the Chimaev incident. One of the catchweight bouts comes in this next one. Jailton Almeida against Anton Turkalj. Now, Turkalj was on, I believe it was week 1 of Dana White Contender Series. It was one of the first few weeks this season. Continued his perfect record as he got a win on Contender Series, but was not awarded a contract. We'll get into him in a moment here. Looking at Almeida, 16 wins, 2 losses, 31 years old, 6 KO, 10 submissions, 0 decisions. And he is riding a hell of a win streak right now. Coming off Contender Series himself last season. He's on a 2-fight win streak in the UFC. 11-fight pro win streak. Much like his opponent, who's coming on short notice, if I'm not mistaken, Anton Turkalj. The Pleasure Man is the worst fucking nickname in the UFC. Turkalj, 8 wins, 0 losses. 5 KO, TKO, 2 submissions. 26 years old. I mean, he's putting his undefeated record on the line here. Coming in at a catchweight, so a little bit heavier. Coming in short notice. And coming in without a full camp. Now, again, solid record. He's been in Brave FC. He's competed in big grappling tournaments against Gustafsson, against, some big grapplers out in Europe. So he's a solid guy. And I get it. You lose in Contender Series. Or sorry, you don't necessarily lose in Contender Series. You lose on your goal in Contender Series, which is to get a contract. And you take this short notice fight because you want recognition. You want to make it. You want to impress Dana White and the UFC brass. But answering the bell to Almeida, the catchweight is 220. They both weighed in around, it was like 217 and I think Turkalj was like 215. It's going to be a tough one, as I just mentioned before. Look at his record. This is going to be a tough one. I'm going Almeida. Again, the short notice for Turkalj. Good grappler. I just don't think he's got enough right now. I don't think he's game planned enough for Almeida. On to the featured prelim, and we have another Canadian here. Another Canadian out of Alberta, of all places. Hakeem Dawodu, Calgary, Alberta. 13 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw. He's 31 years old. 7 TKO, 6 decisions. The one thing that sucks about Hakeem Dawodu right now is he missed weight. He missed freaking weight, folks. So they decided to have a catchweight at 150 instead of 145 pounds. He will be facing Julian Erosa. Let's take a look at Dawodu's record here. Since entering the UFC, he's looked outstanding, folks. First loss came to Danny Henry. Then went on a 5-fight win streak in the UFC. He lost to Mosavar Evolov, who's a solid guy. UFC 263, and then I watched him in his last fight, unanimous decision, beat Trezano. He's got an electric style. It's really fun to watch. It's like a hybrid Muay Thai style. He's an absolute monster for the division, which is that's why he has trouble missing weight or making weight. And then let me just say, in the past, he hasn't had much trouble to my knowledge. This was just a weird card for that all around. But yes, this proves that he is big for the division. He has to win this one. So he's going to be very motivated. As Julian Erosa has taken 30% of his purse regardless, as Dawodu missed weight. Julian Erosa, a veteran of the UFC, 27 wins and 9 losses, 11 KOs, 12 submissions, 4 decisions. Erosa for me is like, he's okay / good in all areas, but he doesn't really excel in any. He's not too exciting. He's not crazy dangerous on the ground. Yeah, he's got some knockout power, but are you really scared of him on your feet? He's riding a 2-fight win streak, and yes, he beat Charles Jourdain. I get it, but Charles Jourdain, he's fun to watch. But is Charles Jourdain the prospect that we're all hoping, he is? Is he going to turn out to be the great fighter we all hope that he will be? I don't know. He's got some holes in his game, and Erosa, September 4, 2021, exposed those. But as you can see, he's a veteran in the game. He's been in the UFC for a long time. I guess he's the next test for Dawodu. We shall see. Here we go, on to the main card. Johnny Walker against Ian Cutelaba. Oh, man. Johnny Walker's a great personality. And did you guys hear his whole spiel on how he was essentially drugging himself because he was found out he was allergic to marijuana and THC? Anyways, that's crazy. Go listen to his ESPN interview with Megan Olivi. Or was it Brett Okamoto? Regardless, go check it out on ESPN. Let's get into this one. Johnny Walker, again, fan favorite, came onto the UFC, just guns a-blazing. 18 wins, 7 losses, 15 KO wins, 2 submissions, 1 decision. He's just an absolute monster of a human and an athlete, 6'5". The one thing is, Johnny Walker's chin has been exposed as of late, folks. He got knocked the fuck out against Jamal Hill. He got knocked out against Thiago Santos. Yeah, he beat Ryan Spann. He didn't look good in the loss to Krylov, though that did go to unanimous decision. TKO to Corey Anderson before Anderson left to Bellator. Before then, though, highlight reel, folks. Highlight reel coming off Contender Series. And if you look at the highlights of Johnny Walker, I mean, he's truly a very fun fighter to watch. Ion Cutelaba, though, 28 years old, 16 wins, 7 losses. He's a power hitter, folks. The Hulk is a power hitter. 12 KO TKOs, 2 submissions, 2 decisions, and 1 draw. Lost to Ryan Spann, funny enough. His last fight. Guillotined in that one. Beat Devin Clark. I mean, he really needs a win right now, too. But if you look at the guys he lost to, Ankalaev twice in a row. Ankalaev is an absolute beast. Draw with Justin Jukabi. Lost to Glover Teixeira, the former champ. Been in the UFC for a while, trading, a lot of wins and losses there, but it's because he's such an explosive fighter. It's because he's got that power. He is fun to watch. I'm picking Cutelaba. However, if this goes past the first round, it's Johnny Walker's fight by decision. That's what I think. I don't think Johnny Walker's, with his knees, elbows, it doesn't matter. I don't think he's knocking out Cutelaba. Cutelaba, though, it's a 3-round fight. He's going to fade a minute into the second round if he doesn't knock out Johnny Walker in the first round. And that I am going to pick it, lock it in, official. Cutelaba is going to win this. I think it's going to be a first round knockout TKO. I cannot trust Johnny Walker's chin right now. Now, prove me wrong, Johnny Walker, because I want to root for you again. But until you prove that you can take some shots, especially from a beast that is Cutelaba, we're going Cutelaba first round knockout. All right, this one will fire through quickly. Now, I love women's MMA. Unlike the Guru on YouTube, I really do like women's MMA. But sometimes it's just like, man, why is this bout on the main card? Or why are there fights at all being made like the one we talked about earlier? But anyways, this one should be exciting. I'm not dogging it in that sense at all. We'll get into it here. Irene Aldana against Macy Chiasson. Aldana, 13 wins, 6 losses. Solid fighter. This was supposed to be contested at 135. Catchweight at 140. 7 KO. 3 submissions, 3 decisions. Won her last fight. Lost to Holly Holm. ESPN 6. UFC on ESPN 16 in 2020. For then had a 2-fight win streak. I mean, she's solid. She's a UFC veteran. Been in the UFC for many, many years. Irene Aldana. We go to Macy Chiasson. Chiasson was so confident in her press conference to the media, basically just saying, you know, it should be less frowned upon for women to just jump from, you know, 135 and 145, and you know, most women athletes can do it, and it's easy, and just talking a big game in the weight cutting sphere. Can't make weight. Can't make weight. Oh, and so they have to agree on a catch rate of 140. So I thought that was just precious, as Macy Chiasson's the one, you know, kind of tooting her own horn a little bit, and then can't make weight. But anyways, 8 wins, 2 losses. Beat Norman Dumont her last fight. Marion Renault, Shannon Young. Like, these are both good fighters. It should be a good fight. I think Irene Aldana's more confident since she didn't have to force the catch weight. So we're going with Aldana. All right, now to the fun stuff. This one, in my opinion, is the people's main event. Jingliang has won over so many fans these last few days with his appearance on Embedded, and he's always just smiling, just such a pure martial artist, just happy competitor, tries to be friends with all the athletes. You saw Chimaev, you saw Tony Ferguson. I mean, you saw everyone backstage. He just seems like a gem of a human, cooking for his trainers and things like that as well. Went and got a beautiful suit tailor-made, fitted to wear at the press conference, which was canceled because of an altercation backstage between the Diaz camp, between the Holland camp, between the freaking Chimaev's camp, all of them. I felt so bad for Jingliang. He prepared for a big name bout 2 against Tony Ferguson, where he was going to elevate his name in the sport. That gets scrapped, and now he's fighting Daniel Rodriguez. So let's get into that right now. Jingliang, the Leech. 19 wins, 7 losses. 34 years old, but you wouldn't guess it. He's an absolute monster the way he keeps his body fresh. 10 KO, TKO, 4 submissions, 5 decisions. If I'm not mistaken, he's China's best MMA fighter ever in the UFC. Historically, I think he has the most knockouts for a Chinese fighter, and I believe he's the longest standing Chinese fighter in the UFC. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. Originally put on this card to destroy Tony Ferguson, to make Chimaev look good, since Chimaev did beat him October 30th, 2021 on the Blachowicz-Teixeira card, where Khamzat Chimaev just picked him up, brought him right to Dana White, and made quick work of him. Lee bounced back with a tremendous win against Muslim Salikov. Salikov, crazy good stand-up and karate background, absolutely took it to him on the feet, was Jingliang, and was able to knock him out. TKO, baby. Knocked out Santiago Ponzinibbio. Lost to Neil Magny in a unanimous decision, but that was because Neil Magny used the grappling, something that I do not think Daniel Rodriguez will employ in this fight. I love the Leech more so than ever after this week. Daniel Rodriguez was set to fight Kevin Holland at 180, so he weighed in 9 pounds heavier than the Leech. Now, the Leech is in better physical athlete shape, I truly believe, than Daniel Rodriguez. Daniel Rodriguez doesn't look absolutely shredded at 170, where he usually competes at. However, still has muscle mass on certain places that's recognizable. His shoulders, his chest area, usually, after a weight cut has, some of those abs at 180, maybe fine. That's not displayable. He just looked a little tubbier than usual. Now, and that's no disrespect. It's the way his body type is different than the Leech, and I get it's 10 pounds more. Just doesn't look like he's in the best shape for a fight. Now, he's coming off a whole year off. He's coming off 3 surgeries on his hand. There might be a little ring rust there. 16 wins, 2 losses. He's an absolute beast. When he pieced up Kevin Lee, that was a joy to watch. 8 TKO, 4 submissions, 4 decisions. He's got iron hands, ladies and gentlemen. Running a 3-fight win streak. Kevin Lee, Preston Pearsons, and Mike Perry. He beat Dwight Grant too, Gabriel Green, Tim Means. I mean, he's got some solid wins. I really do like Daniel Rodriguez, and I was actually rooting for him over Kevin Holland in their bout. But folks, with the suit, with Lee being the smaller guy on paper, being in better shape, being more driven now, I'm going with Jingliang to win this one. D-Rod hits hard, but I think just the ring rust, the octagon rust, and just not preparing for an opponent like Jingliang, who will probably take it to him similar than Kevin Holland. I'm going with Jingliang, and Jingliang this morning was still the underdog on the betting lines, folks. By the time this video drops, I hope it's still the same. If it's the same, drop that money on Jingliang. All right, we move to the co-main event. I mean, these three fights, Jingliang, D-Rod, Chimaev, Holland, and of course Diaz, Ferguson, they're all the main events. They in my opinion, lump them all some. They're all the main events. So we'll get to the next one here. Khamzat Chimaev against Kevin Holland. The backstage brawl seeps into the octagon. Let's do a little bit more of a deep dive here. Boris the Wolf Khamzat Chimaev fails to make the 170-pound limit, the welterweight division limit, weighs in at 179, flips off the crowd. I mean, this guy's really playing into his villainous role at the ceremonial weigh-ins, telling the Americans to F off and things like that. I mean, absolutely crazy. Trains out of Stockholm, Sweden, born in Chechnya. 6 KO, TKO, 4 submissions, 1 decision, riding an 11-fight win streak. Now fighting at a catchweight at 180 against Kevin Holland. He beat Gilbert Burns, Jingliang, Gerald Meerschaert, Rise McKee, John Phillips, all in the UFC, and he looked like an absolute monster in every single fight. Fought in Brave before. I mean, everyone knows Boris is a monster. He's the UFC's biggest prospect right now as far as pure talent. People do forget, though, he had crazy complications with COVID-19. Pretty much retired 2 years ago. Came back and has looked good. The doctor apparently stopped his weight cut at 4 a.m. Friday morning. His body was not reacting well with it. This might be the last time we see Chimaev at welterweight. Looking at his opponent, which, God, I feel bad. I mean, I felt bad for Diaz, but I feel even more bad for Kevin Holland right now, who prepared to fight a striker. Kevin Holland, obvious deficiencies in the takedown defense. He's not a wrestler. He's got good jiu-jitsu. He's got excellent striking. I'd say he's got better power than a Khamzat Chimaev if you're going just striking for striking. 13 KO, TKO, 6 submissions, 4 decisions, 23 wins, 7 losses. 29 years old is Trailblazer. Big mouth Kevin Holland. He beat Tim Means. He beat Alex Oliveira. Lost to Marvin Vettori, Derek Brunson, so top of the division. Beat Souza, Charlie Ontiveros, Darren Stewart. I mean, I don't want to say he's been crushing cans. He's just been riding the rankings. Anthony Hernandez, Joaquin Buckley. He's been in the UFC for a while now. He beat Gerald Meerschaert. Okay, so yeah, he's got some great UFC wins to his name, but listen, folks. Listen, look at them all here. A lot of them are TKO. A lot of them are decisions and things like that. And I know his submissions. Again, he's good jiu-jitsu. He's an MMA guy. He's seasoned in mixed martial arts. So yeah, there's going to be submissions on his record there. But let's be perfectly honest here, folks. Kevin Holland is primarily a striker. Khamzat Chimaev is primarily a wrestler. If it stands for the entirety of a round or two, Chimaev could lose a round or two if it's just a pure striking match. But kind of like the Gilbert Burns fight, I think Khamzat Chimaev's wires will cross a bit. He'll take a round. He'll take maybe 2 to 3 minutes of the fight in total and just stand and bang. But as soon as he senses he's losing, as soon as he gets tagged once, he's going to go to the wrestling and it's going to work. He took down Burns so easily after being rocked. And Burns is way better with the takedown defense, right? I have my notes here. Yeah, if it stands, maybe Holland wins around. Maybe he tags Chimaev, but Chimaev's got a good chin. I don't think Holland's going to knock him out. Holland won't be able to grapple as good as Chimaev. Holland is the better striker, but will probably be submitted. But the greatest thing about all of this, folks, is Holland is getting paid for this. So win or lose, him and his family are getting taken care of. What's next for Khamzat Chimaev? Let me know in the comments below, because this just threw off the welterweight division plans for the UFC. Maybe now he moves up to middleweight. We'll see. And here we go, folks. The main event we all wanted. The main event we thought we weren't allowed to see. The main event that is finally here. Nathan Diaz against Tony frickin' Ferguson. Nate Diaz against El Cucuy. I cannot believe this is happening, folks. Let me know your predictions in the comments below. Let's get right into it. Nate Diaz, 37 years old, 20 wins, 13 losses, 5 KO, TKO, 11 submissions, 4 decisions. Absolute legend of the game. absolute legend. We all wrote him off against Chimaev, and now we have a fucking fight on our hand, folks. Nate Diaz lost his last 2 fights in the UFC to Leon Edwards, the welterweight champion right now. It went 5 rounds. Jorge Masvidal, the BMF, the baddest motherfucker. Dr. Stoppage, too. He probably would have continued to go in that fight. He defeated Anthony Pettis when Anthony Pettis was on his way out of the UFC, but still a formidable opponent. Lost to Conor McGregor in their rematch, but that went 5 rounds, and that was an amazing fight. He beat Conor McGregor. Before then, he beat Michael Johnson. He had a war with Rafael dos Anjos. He had a war and absolutely dismantled Gray Maynard. Wins against... And this Josh Thompson fight, by the way, folks, go look it up. Diaz would not go down. He got head kicked 3 fucking times clean. Would not go down. His corner threw in the towel. Title fight against Benson Henderson. Beat Jim Miller, Donald Cerrone, Takanori Gomi. When you look at his losses, and he lost to huge guys, to huge big names in the UFC. I mean, he's an absolute legend. Look at the names of the guys he's fought. Nathan Diaz, what a last dance. What, like, memorable way to go out. Brawl backstage, his opponent missing weight, and now fighting an absolute legend in El Kukui, Tony Ferguson. And they're both of similar age. I mean, it's just perfect. It's just absolutely perfect. 38 years old, 25 wins, 7 losses, 12 TKO, 8 submission, 5 decision. Now, Tony Ferguson, don't let his losing streak paint the picture if you're new to MMA or new to this channel. He has lost to killers. Michael Chandler, top of his division. Benel Dariush, top of his division. Charles Oliveira, the true champion. Justin Gaethje just fought for the belt. Before then, torched the UFC. Donald Cerrone, Anthony Pettis, Kevin Lee, Rafael dos Anjos, Venata, Edson Barbosa, Josh Thompson, Gleason Tebow. Look at this. Absolutely insane. Tony Ferguson, I mean, what season of The Ultimate Fighter was it again? Was it 13? I don't remember, but Brock Lesnar was his coach. He was the star of that show. He's still the star of the UFC. These are the 2 biggest personalities that we've seen in the UFC for a long time, folks, and now they're finally coming together to fight each other. What do I have in my notes here? It's going to be an absolute war. It's going to be absolute war. What I love now is we're not going to see Diaz get taken out in the first round like potentially he was going to against Chimaev. We're going to see this go 5 rounds. I predict Tony Ferguson to win this, be it split or unanimous decision, purely on we're going to see more damage done on Nate Diaz's face due to the scar tissue and everything over the years. El Kukui likes to employ the elbows. He likes to employ the knees. He likes to cut people up. Whereas Diaz is going to primarily employ the boxing game and maybe go for some grappling as well. I think this is going to be a full-on mixed martial arts bout because we see Nate Diaz with his boxing and his jiu-jitsu. We see Tony Ferguson with his unorthodox striking. I'll throw it into the Muay Thai category because he uses a lot of elbows, and he's a great wrestler. I mean, wrestling background to get into MMA, right? He's a solid wrestler. I think we're going to see a full display of mixed martial arts. I think we're going to see an absolute war, and I think we see Tony Ferguson winning this one. They're both going to put on an absolute show. I know I didn't get into the betting lines on all of these fights as they tend to change, I mean, throughout the day. This is going to drop probably noon Pacific time. By 3 p.m. Pacific, you know, when the early prelims start, shit's probably going to change all over the place, but I will take a look at the betting odds for this one as they are right now, just because it went from Nate Diaz being the craziest underdog to now it's a pick'em. If I'm not mistaken, it's a pick'em as far as the betting odds go. So there you go, folks. There you go.
So you guys want predictions on the Diaz versus Ferguson fight? Well, I'm going Diaz all the way because I want to watch him slap the fucking shit out of somebody. It's always nice to see him do that. So that's my prediction. First round knockout Diaz.
To quickly recap, Lanez, Martinez, Ellinger, Dumont, but who cares? Collier, Tiuliulin, Almeida, Dawodu, Aldana, Jingliang, Cutelaba, Chimaev, Tony Ferguson. Let me know your predictions in the comments below, and let me also know in the comments, did this craziness, the backstage brawl, the weight miss, the juggling of the roster, Nate Diaz, Tony Ferguson, has this influenced you to buy the pay-per-view? Do you believe this has influenced more viewers, more fans of mixed martial arts, or just sports fans to buy this pay-per-view and watch this event? There was a freaking emergency update on Sports Center with Dana White because of all the craziness. Let me know in the comments below, like and subscribe. If you like this rundown, I'll do more of them. Let me know. This is for you, the people in the live stream, the great fight community that we're building. You asked me to do this, so I'm delivering. Thank you so much. Like I said, like and subscribe. Videos every day on the City Light Project YouTube channel, fishing video, whiskey and beer tastings, Vancouver Island blogs, and of course, the cream of the crop, fight companions, reactions, and now predictions and preview videos. Like we said, like and subscribe, and I'll see you today for the Fight Companion.